Hello everyone on YouTube. Today it's time to upgrade my rotors, my front brake rotors. This is a 94 Honda Civic EX, so it has the bigger brake discs in the front, and then it has the drums in the back. But what I'm going to be doing, it's about time to replace those front brake discs. So I ended up going with some drilled and slotted brake rotors. And I pulled these out of eBay, but they're Callahan brake discs, and as you can see, they're drilled and slotted. And so, you know, the drilled and slotted design is supposed to dissipate more heat, and then it's also supposed to allow the brake disc not to collect, so any brake gases and while you're doing some hard braking won't slow down your brake system. You know, it'll be a little bit more effective. And so what you do is jack up your car, make sure to use jack stands, and then I went ahead and removed my front two tires, so both the tires on both sides are off now. And so what you're gonna have to do is, let me show you. I'm gonna be setting up the camera right here for now. So let me just put it on the stand right here. And what you're gonna be doing is taking off the brake caliper, and you have the brake caliper, which is this part right here that's red, and then it has two bolts, one in the top and one on the bottom side right here. And so what you do is use a 17 millimeter socket with the ratchet, and then you loosen those up. So I already kind of pre-loosened them up just so I wouldn't have to struggle, but I mean it's not so difficult to take them off. So you shouldn't find so much resistance. But let me remove the one on the bottom right now. And then this is a bolt that you're gonna be taking off. So it's a bolt like this. Alrighty. And then the next one on top is the same size. It's also a 17 millimeter socket. And what I like to use is a longer socket, just so I can reach over the brake line that's right here on top, or under it, more like it. But you can just fit the socket however you see fit best. And then after a while, you can just basically remove the bolt with your hand. So it's not too difficult. So that's what you do. You remove the second bolt, and then you can just place them on the side. And then now this whole assembly will come off. And since you don't want any tension coming up on the brake line right here, what you should do is grab a piece of wire. So you grab a piece of wire such as this one, and then it could be a little long, and what you're gonna do is loop it on the caliper once you take it off, and then hang it on your upper control arm, which is up here. So you're gonna loop it on here just so it won't put tension on the brake line that's right here. You don't want the brake lines to crack. And right now, right here in Central California, we're actually getting some pretty freezing temperatures, so you know, things can be a little brittle if you move them too quickly. And so what you do is slide this off. This should be able to slide off just like this, and then just be careful not to bend the brake line too much. And what you have in here are both of your brake pads, and so what you do is then take the wire, and then just kind of loop it somewhere where I usually try to put it through the hole where the bolt was taken out of, and then you just put it on your upper control arm, and then just kind of tighten it up right there, just so it won't fall down or anything. But yeah, and then you can just leave it hanging right there. So this is what I like to do, just hang it up there, and then I use the hole where the bolt went that I just removed right now. In order to remove these calipers now, not the caliper, sorry, the brake discs, what you're going to be doing is you're going to see that on these Hondas they have two screws right here. And what you usually can use is an impact screwdriver, which is a screwdriver that you can hit in the back. But in this case, I didn't. You can find that at a local hardware store, Harbor Freight. You know, find a cheap one. But I was able to just use my screwdriver, a regular Phillips screwdriver. And so what you do is, you know, unscrew the little screw that's right here. This is just to hold the brake disc in place. So you just unscrew it, and then it'll look like a little small screw like this. And so you'll notice that there's a lot of rust on the actual disc, but this disc should now easily come off, like so. And so you can see that you might not be able to see it because of the camera, but you can see that it is a little worn down. And then what you can do is grab the new brakes and compare them in size. So I'm going to be doing that right now. That's easier like that. Usually I hold the camera, but right now I have a jack stand going, so that helps out a lot. And so what you should do is, this is the aftermarket one, and this is the one that it had well, it's not OEM, but it's stock style. And the brakes that I got actually are labeled front driver side, and then the other one says front pass side, so passenger side. And just because the grooves are cut a certain way to spin with the direction of the wheel. And so what you do is you can put them next to each other, make sure that the sizes line up, make sure that they're the same size. It looks like they are. And then you can even see how one's thicker than the other if you line them up like that. But yeah, it looks like both of these line up. It's actually a perfect match. And then the aftermarket ones that I actually got are actually zinc plated, so they won't rust. They won't rust as easily as those. So that helps. I mean, you know, you should probably get some of these, you know, so you don't have that much rust and brake dust flying around. Especially when you're working on brakes, it's not really healthy to be breathing that. So now that I've seen that it is the same size, so what I'm going to be doing now is now fitting the new ones on there. So pretty much the installation is reverse of removal, and you can just clean it up a bit. The brake dust cover looks like it's in good condition. Actually, looks like it's not bent or anything. And you can also right now check your lines. You know, I need a new CV axle actually on this side, but I'm not worrying about it too much right now. The CV boot is broken right there, but you can check your tie rod ends, your tie rod boots, making sure that all of it's fine. You know, like make sure that there's no loose parts or anything. You can check your strut. If you have adjustable coilovers like I do, you can just adjust it right now as well. But let me go ahead and now put this one on this side. So pretty much it's installation is a reverse of removal. So there, you put it on there. Make sure that the screws line up. On the side where the screws go, there's a little ridge right there. There's also another hole, but it doesn't have that little ridge. So this one has that little indentation inside, where that little cone-shaped head of the little screw will fit on there just perfectly flush. So make sure to line up those with the holes, and then you just put the screw on. That's just to hold it in place. I mean, you can go to your local junkyard and pick up a couple of these screws, but I haven't had any problem with it at all. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then now you basically release your brake caliper that you tied up here. You release the brake caliper, just slide off the wire. Make sure to remove the wire once you're done. And then what you're gonna do is put it in here. But since the new brake disc is a little thicker than the old one, what you're gonna have to do is just you can remove the brake pad from the side where you can remove the brake pad from the side where the piston is. The piston is gonna be on this side where it's a little thicker. You can see on behind the brake caliper. You're gonna remove that brake pad, and what you can get is some of these adjustable pliers, and then you're gonna compress the piston just to make some more room, because that's what compresses the brakes together. So let me just slide off the brake pad, and then I'll show you the piston. Yeah, and this brake pad, I mean, it's pretty easy, it's pretty simple to take off. You can just do that, and then this is the piston you're going to be compressing here, and then all you have to do is just make sure that the brake fluid reservoir is open. And the reason why you want your brake reservoir to be open is that when you're compressing that piston, that brake piston, the fluid level is probably gonna go up a little more because you're compressing the brake fluid that's already in the lines. So make sure to just pop it open, just leave it like that so it doesn't leak anywhere, because brake fluid will eat through your paint. So you have to be careful that it doesn't do that. And yeah, just let it sit there, you know, let it drip into its own reservoir. And so we're gonna come over here and then work with that caliper piston. So you get one of these adjustable pliers, and then what you can actually do is kind of like jimmy it somewhere where it'll fit through, just so it's not in the way of like the brake clips or anything. And then you're gonna slowly compress the piston that's already in there, which is the ring shaped component in there. So you kind of just like fit it around, see where it will actually compress, and you'll slowly see it start to go down in level and sit flush with the back part of the caliper. So you do that, and then this one's not pushed out so much because I did recently change my brake pads, so I had to compress them in order to fit the meatier brake pads. So that's what you do. And then now what you do is just put the brake pad back in its place. To slide the clip, make sure that the other brake pad's flush with the other side, just so you have enough room to work with. And then you go ahead and fit it in there. Now that you have both brake pads on the caliper component right there, you can slide it over the new brake rotor, and then all you do is just line up the holes in the back for the bolts that go, the 17 millimeter bolts that we took out in the beginning. So you just slide it around, jimmy it a little, and then just make sure that it slides into place. And once it starts sliding into place, you can just screw it all back on, and then just make sure that they're nice and tight. And then the caliper will just stay on its side, or on its rightful side. So that's all you do. Now then you just throw your tires back on your car. Make sure that the lug nuts are tightened up, and then snug them up a bit, and then lower your car, and then finish tying them up, and then you're good. And then that's it. That's all you have to do for these new brake rotors. And then you know, just drive safe. You know, enjoy them. You know, and if you do get some of these, once again, they're Callahan, Callahan. They're perfect size for my vehicle. I know they have for multiple vehicles, so just go ahead and check them out. The prices are pretty good. And shipping is pretty quickly as well. And so just check it out, and then you know, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this design. I know there's only rotors that do have only the slots. There's other ones that only have the drilled holes. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions or suggestions, just comment below, and remember to subscribe. Well, thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. Thank you. Have a great day. Goodbye.